I think the developer is ready now. Anybody? So we can go ahead. Are we good to go ahead? So we are all good. We understand all our past classes, concept, frameworks, everything. All right. Okay, Marco, please go ahead. Is it please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good evening.
everyone. This is actually a question.
Maybe not
This is
regarding
what?
to the past. I said this is actually a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, but maybe not regarding to the past lecture. But my
Okay.
question is this. Okay. How do we keep our product relevant? Do you understand in a changing situation? I don't know if you understand what I mean by in a changing situation.
Yeah. So even once are insatiable.
Yeah.
In the spirit of clients making demand in the spirit of what is in vogue right now. How do you
Yes.
keep your product relevant in a way that people keep using it? Thank you very much.
Yes.
So for starters, you have to understand your why. What is the why of your product? What do I say? You have to understand your why. So it's not every trend you jump on because everybody is doing it.
Okay.
If you know why you have created your product and the reason for your product, you will know the trends that align with your why. Part of your why are going to be your business goals. So don't forget, you are the hub between the user and your stakeholders. So in as much as you want to give your users what is in vogue, if what is in vogue is not tying up to your why and to the goals your stakeholders have set for you, you're already tilting your wheels. You're already tilting your car. It's no longer balancing as a PM. Do you get me?
Yeah, I get it. But in that case, let's say that it is not aligning. Are we supposed to forget about the product or do something else that will make it to align?
So another very good question. So as a PM, your job is to build that alignment.
Okay.
So either you go back to your stakeholders and realign them, or you go to your users and get what they want and why they want it. Don't always forget your why.
Okay.
You understand? Then you come back and realign with both users and stakeholders.
Okay.
And that is what you do as a PM. So I'll give you this example I want to give. I'll try to give it, even though I'm still going to reuse it again. But it's what is coming to my head. Okay, so let me use it this way. So there's a product I worked on.
Okay.
And it's an L&D product, learning and development product. And the major stakeholder, she has a personal brand.
Okay.
She has a personal brand. And her personal brand is what? Red and black. Now, learning and development in Nigeria is a bit skewed because it has some very thin line with religion and spirituality.
Yes.
A red and black color in this our climb means a lot of things. Religion and spiritual wise. You understand what I'm saying? Your major stakeholder, our brand color is red and black. In fact, when we were doing user surveys, the first red flag that came out from everybody was, why is it this color? Because as they land on the app, they see red and black. They are seeing people asking you about your emotions, asking you about your goals and things like that. You understand? The first it gates their responses and who are these people? Am I sure? Are you sure they are not destiny hunters? You understand? You understand the retention?
Yes.
You get.
Yes.
Going back to the major stakeholders, And I'll never forget what she told me. It's so funny. That why people so dramatic that the blood of Jesus not red. And I laughed daddy that because I was also trying to get her to understand that ma, these are our users who it doesn't really matter about your but our personal brand is red and black. She wants all her things to be red and black.
Yes.
You understand? So how did we navigate it? Innovation. We did something very genuine. We told her that okay, fine, we'll keep your red and black. But instead, can we also we're also going to introduce a light mode and dark mode. So that people that don't like your red and black, they can switch to white and black, to the light mode. You understand what I'm saying? So where I'm going with this is this. I want you to understand. You will enter the app and you'll see switch to dark mode, switch to light mode. You will think it's Vogue. You think wanted to make it look cool, wanted to make it look nice. But really, I was just balancing alignment between my stakeholder and my users.
Yeah.
Do you get the drift now?
Yes, I do.
I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. Very well.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Any other question? Can we start today's class? Okay, if I see 5 thumbs up, we'll start today's class. 1, 2, 3. Somebody did 100 thumbs up. I think we should just start. So, please, can you put your hand down so that I can understand? Yes, thank you. All right, good. So where did we stop last week? Benefits of Scrum. We spoke about the best practices of successful Scrum. We spoke about the challenges and best practices for Scrum. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Please, I need your feedback so that I know, so I don't just keep talking. All right, so today we'll start with sprint planning. Yeah, I knew I said we're going to start with Kanban, but I think we should put planning so that we don't do the framework then come back to sprints. So that we'll finish everything about sprinting. So we'll talk about sprint planning. How do you set the foundation for a successful sprint? All right. All right. So what's the objective of a sprint plan? When you say sprint planning, you guys remember everything about sprint planning? You remember everything about sprints? Yeah, talk now. Am I the only one in class? I can't hear anybody saying anything.
So, what's the question, sir?
Okay, I said, do you guys remember anything about sprint? We talked about sprints in last class. You remember what a sprint is? You guys have not reviewed your class notes too. Is this topic that technical?
Not actually. That's why I said I've not been able to revise at all.
Okay. So that means what do we do now?
Sir, probably we'll just like do a brush up for them again. I think someone is answering.
Said it's abstract.
Yemi,
I mean, said it's
abstract
abstract
and
and complex. Okay.
probably just like a brush up,
Okay.
or they should go and watch the recording again.
Guys, what should we do? Let's start from the Scrum ceremonies. Or you guys should do a brush up on your own just because of
I personally, I would do my own brush up personally.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay, so let's start. Okay, Neolu has answered. The time that's okay. Thank you, Ini. All right. So basically, what a sprint plan does is that you are defining what will be accomplished in this sprint you are going into, so that you also align the team priorities. So how do you plan a strip? How do you plan a sprint? The first step is to review your product backlog. We all remember what our product backlogs are: user stories, epics, themes. We all remember, right? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first step is to review your product backlog. This is majorly the responsibility of the product owner. You know, it presents the highest priority items. You know, then the team, together with the PO, they discuss requirements, dependencies, and scope of these backlogs. So the priority items you pick from your backlog, you move them into your sprint backlog, from your product backlog to your sprint backlog. Now, as you're doing that, also is that you pick your sprint goal, which you pick from your objectives, your OKRs, or what you call your epics or your themes. E.g., you want to improve user onboarding. That is what this sprint is focused on. And you also then you ensure alignment between business needs and technical feasibility. What is possible? What do you have capacity to do? Can this be done in this number of weeks? How technical is it? Do we need extra hands? Do we have enough in-house hands that can deliver this particular objective for the business? Then you select and commit to user stories. You pull items from, like I said, from your backlog into your sprint backlog. You discuss what your acceptance criteria are, and your DODs, definition of done. And you now break down the task if needed, if there's a need for you to break it down. Then you use story points, t-shirt sizing, Fibonacci sequence to estimate efforts. I know you're asking what is all those stuff. Yes, we'll get there. We are still going to get there. And you ensure that the workload is realistic given the team capacity. You're making sure that this stuff we have set up, are we sure that our two-man dev department can deliver this in our sprint period? You also make sure you define your definition of done. Like I said earlier, when a task is considered complete, code written, when it is tested, when it's reviewed. We all remember what definition of done is.
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Then you move into your final review and sprint kickoff. At this point, you are sure that everything is aligned. You have your definitions, you have your feature prioritization determined. That's where your capacity and your effort estimation comes in. You have your user stories, your sprint goals, and your backlog all planned. That means you have successfully been able to move features from your product backlog to your sprint backlog. You have defined your feature prioritization technique you are using. You know what your definition of done is, then your sprint can start. Are we good? Any other clarity?
Please, Mr. Belumi, the network kicked me out. I'm a bit lost, sir.
Okay, all right. So I'll go through it again briefly. All right. So I said before you start a sprint, there are things called sprint planning. If you remember our sprint cycle, you have a planning stage that starts. You have a planning stage. You have a planning stage that starts our Scrum cycle. You guys remember? No. And on that planning stage, do you guys remember? Nobody's talking now.
Yes, sir.
Good, Toby. So on that planning stage, how do you plan? That's what we're really just discussing here. I think it's cutting my screen now. All right. So we start by reviewing our product backlog. You present the highest priority items. You discuss your requirements, dependencies, and scope. What is it going to require for us? What is it going to cost us? What are the things we need? Scope is, what are we going to achieve? Or what is the latitude of achievement that this sprint period is going to achieve for us? Also, is you define your sprint goal, basically coming from your OKRs and your epics or your teams. So, for instance, example here, the goal of this sprint is that we want to improve user onboarding. So you know that every user story you are picking is related to the theme or the epic of improving user onboarding. Also, you have to align business needs with technical feasibility. We want to improve user onboarding, yes. Do we have in-house strength or in-house staff strength to achieve this user onboarding? That's alignment. Then once you are done picking all these features, this alignment, you begin to move all those features you want to work in the sprints into your sprint backlog. So you move features from your product backlog into your sprint backlog. Then you begin to discuss your prioritization techniques. How do you work? We'll discuss prioritization techniques later in the day. That's where your capacity and your effort estimation is coming in. You also agree on your definition of done. How do we know we have completed this feature? How do we know we have completed this project? Then once you have packaged this, you have agreed this, everybody on the team is aligned with this, and it's clear to everybody, your sprints can kick off. Also, during your final review, it's also important, you confirm dependencies. What are the things that can cost us this sprint not to achieve, for us not to, as a team, not to achieve the goal of those sprints? Then after this sprint, what's the next thing? You also have to put that in your plan. Then your sprint can begin. So are you clear with that, Tobiloba?
Yes, sir, I'm very clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. So briefly also, we will, 1 minute, guys. All right. Okay, can everybody see my screen now? I think it's better now. It was cutting off before. Okay, good.
Yes, it's better now.
All right. So I also wanted to briefly touch on, how do you run effective daily stand-ups? Guys, don't forget, like we said, technically it's not the role of a PM to run stand-ups or to manage the Scrum cycle. But we all understand the climate we're in, and for some reason, depending on the organization you work for or the project you are working on, you might have to double as both the PM and the PO. So it's imperative that you have this foundational knowledge of how these frameworks and how these cycles all work. So what are the best practices for daily stand-up? So like I said, keep it short. 15 minutes max. It's not a family meeting. It's not the HR review session. It's not the reporting session. It's not an update session. It is a alignment session. Keep it short. 15 minutes max. They call it stand-up because you stand up physically or virtually to encourage focus. That's why it's called stand-ups. Because when people sit down, you can sit down and before you know, that's not to gist of did you watch yesterday's night series or did you watch this series, and everybody has forgotten the real focus. So each team member answer 3 questions basically in the stand-ups. What did I accomplish yesterday? What will I work on today? Are there any blockers preventing progress? That's what your stand-ups really focus on. Then your PO, your Scrum Master, let me say Scrum Master removes blockers and facilitates discussion. So you help that team member isolate what is causing the blockers. Is it a process? Is it a person? Is it a tool? That's where you come in. Then they basically use visual tools like Jira, Trello, or Kanban boards to track progress. The image you are seeing is an example of a Kanban board. And basically common mistakes to avoid. Like I said earlier, your stand-up is not where you start requesting for status reports. So it's about collaboration and alignment, not updates for management. Do you guys get that? Do you guys get that? Good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also,
Yes, Stafford, I want to ask a question.
yes.
So, what you mean by status reports is, for the fact that, okay, we're trying to ask question maybe from the development team, what did you people do? Okay. Even though we are not presenting it to the management, we just align them with what they are doing. Does that also not translate as status report?
No, that's not, your stand-up is not for that. That's already a status report, but your stand-up is not from that. So if you're looking at your startup review, you pick these 3 questions I mentioned. What did I accomplish yesterday? What will I work on today? Are there any blockers preventing progress? What did I accomplish yesterday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 2 days ago, you said you're going to accomplish 10. Why didn't you? You're already talking about blockers. So what are you working on today? The remaining 10 the remaining 5 that I didn't finish yesterday, I'll do them today. Do you get it? So you're not giving an update of how do I explain it? Of your achievements or the technicalities of your role or what you have, so a lot of people mix it up that, we have been able to increase user onboarding by 50%. That's already talking too much. That doesn't have any specificity. Also, are you clear, Samson?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Also, is your stand-up is not where you start solving problems. You still detailed discussions for after the stand-up. So if you think that maybe the blockers require more, or you think the person is not achieving enough, if you're saying that you're supposed to do 10, but you only did 2, it's not a stand-up. You start dragging the person, you're drawing us down, you're doing this. Yeah, all you need to do during that stand-up is to take notes as a PM. Then maybe after the stand-up, you can now start having a one-on-one with that person to discuss how you will solve the problem or what really the problem the person is having. Like I said, don't forget, your stand-up should not be more than 15 minutes max. In Nigeria, I see people having stand-up of 1 hour. Well, it might be understandable if you have a very large team and you have plenty of people working on different aspects of a project. It might be very understandable. But ideally, your stand-up should not be more than 15 minutes at the maximum. Are we good? Can we go ahead? All right. Also, we'll touch on sprint retrospective. Can anybody remind me what sprint retrospective is? This English self is already hooking my mouth. Anybody? Yes, to be about. Please go ahead.
Okay, I believe that retrospective is when the team gets together to talk about what was done, like the outcome of the sprint, and what was done well, what could have been done better. It's just like them having a session about everything that has happened in the course of the sprint, and what they can learn from the whole process, and what they can do better, that the lessons they've learned and what they can use to do better in the coming sprint. Thank you,
Thank,
sir.
thank you, Toby Lover. Thank you. Thank you. Dami, I think we also need to incorporate some things. It's looking like it's only some set of people that talk or ask questions in class. So maybe we'll be giving points for people that talk or engage more, because we need everybody to start engaging.
Okay, sir.
Uh-huh.
Okay, sir.
So when we are discussing assignments and we're giving points, maybe we'll start doing that. Thank you very much, Toby Lover, for that. Very good. So, like she said, a sprint retrospective is basically when, as a team, you come together at the end of the sprint session, at the end of your sprint period, to reflect on that sprint period, what went well, what didn't, and how we can do better. So basically, to start a retrospective process, you set the stage. How do you do that? You ask an engaging question. If this sprint were a movie, what genre would it be? It's very important. Also, you have to, as a PM or as a PO, you must learn to create a safe space for honest feedback, where you don't want to create an environment where people are afraid to talk, or they don't know what to say or how to say it, or they're afraid of you. No. So you can use formats like start, stop, continue. They do a lot of that in management. What should we start? What should we stop? What should we keep doing? Or what are the things you are mad about? What are the things you are sad about? What are the things you are glad about? Or we use the 4 Ls. What are the things you liked? What are the things you learned? What are the things you lacked? Or what are the things you long for? Also, during retrospective, you must learn to identify patterns and root causes. What does that mean? Different people technically saying the same thing. You are grouping similar feedback, and you know that is becoming a key issue, so you have to prioritize it. Also, you must set action items from the retrospective. What are the things we want to improve on? What are the things we want to do? And who is responsible, and add a deadline from it. You must keep the items small, specific, and achievable. Then always close on a positive note. Celebrate wins and appreciate team efforts. Common mistakes to avoid during sprint retrospective, focusing only on negatives. No, make sure you celebrate wins. It's very important. You have to balance it with your team. Then also you have to avoid the lack of follow through on action items. When you set action items, make sure that before your next sprint, that item has been actioned, just like the name is. Are we clear? Questions, answers, subtraction, addition? Good. Thank you, Samson. Also, I know that there's a question you all have been asking me, and you all have been wanting me to touch on. So, what is not the difference between the PM and the PO? Basically, like I was saying earlier, depending on the organization, depending on the product you're working on, there are times you might have to be both. Or even though you are both, your role and your work psychic is different for both role. So as a PM, you are focused on long-term strategy. You're talking about product visions, your company objectives, and market trends. As a PM, that's your cap to wear, that's your hat. As a PO, you translate the strategy of your PM into actionable tasks. By maximizing value of the product resulting from your Scrum team's work. As a PM, your role, you identify new opportunities as it aligns to your business goal. As a PM, you are the expert on the product and managing your customer. As a PM, you realize and you set your business case, your business goals, and all that. You position the product, you develop and maintain the roadmap. You advocate for funding and managing the budget, and you're also responsible for schedules and cost trade-offs. As a PO, the product backlog management is your art. Your job is developing and explicitly communicating the product goal. Your job is to create and clearly communicate the product backlogs. Your job is managing product backlog items and ensuring that the product backlog is transparent and visible and understood for everybody on the team. In essence, the PM is strategically focused while the PO is tactically focused. I did a further breakdown, product, PM, PO. What is the focus? That's what I did on that. Goals, market strength, insights. PO, execution, prioritization, sprint planning. You're ensuring your user stories align with your product vision as a PO. Communication is with development teams, Scrum Master, and Kiwi. Those are your testers. Your metrics, how do they measure your work? It tracks your sprint velocity, your team efficiency, and your backlog health. Your sprint velocity. You say you're going to use 2 weeks. Did you finish under that 2 weeks? Or you had a lot of features spillover? Your team, how efficient are they? How many sprints did they conclude? Did they conclude on time? And the effect of the conclusion of the sprints on time. Your backlog, how fast is it moving? Do you have you sat down on do you have a pool of 100 features in your backlog, and in 3 months you have only been able to complete only 20% of it? That is your job as a PO. That is your role as a PO. PM, like I said, business goals, the market trends, the customer insights. How many space? Strategically, you define the vision of the product, the roadmap, and the PMF. Do you guys know what PMF is? Anybody hear me? Do you guys know what PMF is? Product market fit. Tobiloba, you were saying something?
No, I said product market fit.
Yes. Do you know what product market fit is? She talked and she left. Must be a network. Who wants to tell us what? Yes, Tobiloba, please go ahead.
Okay, I believe product market fit is I don't know, it's something that I'm not really sure, but I think
Just try, give it a try.
Okay, I feel like a product market fit is more like a minimum viable product that at least it doesn't have all the futures. It doesn't have all the futures, but it's just like it's more like a MVP, like minimum viable product, just to use to test to know if this product will work in the marketplace.
You are close, but not totally. You are close, but not totally. When you wanted to say something?
Yes, PMF is when the product effectively meets the needs of a clearly defined customer segment.
Perfect. That's all. So either you're working with an MVP or you're working with a full product. Your PMF is when your product technically meets the needs of a user market or a user audience or a target audience. That is when it's being said that you have achieved PMF. As a PM, that is technically the foundation of what you have to do. That is technically the foundation of what you are going in for as a PM, to make sure that this product achieves a PMF. It achieves a product market fit. That is, this your product is serving the needs and solving the problems of a set of users. And you know the users, you know where they are. And those users, they know you. They know how to get to you. Are we clear? So, Bilaba, did you get that now?
Yes, sir, I did, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, good. So that's strategically, that is your job as a PM. As a PM, you define the vision, define the roadmaps, and make sure you achieve product market fit. Your communication is really majorly with your stakeholders, your executive, marketing, and sales, not really with the developers. So you see what I was saying last week, that technically, as a PM, you are not senior to your developers. Also, as a PM, how do they track your success, or how do they track your work? Your KPIs, your performing indices, your customer engagement, how do you engage with customers, and revenue impacts, long and short, because everything boils down on money. Are you making money? Now, let me piggyback a bit. For some business at some point, revenue might not be money. Revenue might at times be number of users that on board, number of users that sign up. Because if your product is in a state that you are still working free, or you're not charging clients, yes, you understand, revenue is far-fetched. So at that point, it's not based on money. I don't know if you guys get me. You guys get?
Sorry, sir, but let me come again.
Yes, please go ahead. All right. So I know you guys have plenty of questions here. Oh yeah, questions. PMPO. Now let's talk now. No questions. Interesting.
Just trying to digest. I think right from start we started this Scrum lecture, this Scrum aspect. We've been trying to distinguish between a product manager and product owner, and I think at this point it's clear. But to the fact that one way or the other you will still find yourself like a curious product manager. You still find yourself one way or the other still performing a product owner role. Am I right?
You are right, yes, but it really is depending on the structure of the team you are working with. So, and I will explain this to you. So, if you are working in a large organization that can afford to employ PM and PO, you really don't need to focus about. All you need to give that PO is your strategy. You understand what I'm saying? But some organizations too are smart. So instead of employing PM, they will employ PO, but also want the PO to do the PO job, but also be doing the job of a PM. Because technically, a PO should also be able to do the PM job, and a PM should also be able to do a PO job. But even though their roles are different. But in a lot of clients and organizations, you find out that the PM is also the PO. So, but with time, I've had external projects I've done, with my own personal organization, and a lot of time I will just pick a team member to serve as the PO, even though he has PM skills. You get? So a very good point of entry for people that just come into the industry is to position yourself as product owners, either to support PMs in their job, and you make the process a bit lighter. So you are removing a lot of bags or hats they are wearing, and you are carrying some, because that also helps you build competency and also prepare yourself, into entering the industry and things like that. But for some people, they don't mind doing both PM and PO roles. Somebody was asking a question. Let me see. All right. Oh, sorry, I'm just saying, Juliana. Sir, please, I have a question based on the backlog you mentioned. When the product wants to create a new version. Okay. Juliana, sorry, I'm just seeing your question. So let me answer that. So is there a limit? Yes and no. Technically, they won't tell you this is a limit, but ideally, or what's the English now? I don't want to use. So, beloved, I'll answer your question. Just give me a minute. Let me finish Juliana's question. So that you don't be like a jack of all trade. There's something called WIP. It's called work in progress. It means that for every sprint period, for every work period, there should be a number of features you're working on per time. So even though there are no limits, you can't just leave it blankly and say, I'm trying to find English, I'm Yoruba, so I'll just use Yoruba expression. You say, Sheku, you know. For the people that don't understand Yoruba, it means that the watch will only die when the battery has finished, when the battery is exhausted. You understand, you know. But you also have to understand the structure and dynamics of your team, of your developers as a PO. If you know they don't have the strength to do more than 3 features in a sprint cycle or in a Scrum cycle, it will be unfair of you to load, 10 features or 50 features for them to do. Maybe your own is PO, your own is to set, product backlogs and sprint backlogs. Your own is just to leave it and how people start working. No, there are things called work in progress. So as a team, you guys need to agree that our WIP will not be more than 4 features per sprint cycle. So I hope that answers your question, Juliana. Juliana, are you still here? All right, good. Thank you. Are you saying it's so beloved by this one? Are you saying it's better to enter the industry as a PO? No, sir. What I'm saying is, sorry, I don't even know if it's a what I'm saying is this, that it might be an easier role because a lot of PMs also have to act as POs. So you that are looking for internship role or you want to get hands-on experience, you can easily, hold the shirt of a PM and say, PM, sir, PM, man, I'm trying to get hands-on experience. Let me be your PO so that he gets to remove some acts of work and place it on you. But technically, you'll be working with the PM and you'll be working with the PO team. That's what I meant. And this really might be for maybe PMs that are third parties or that they are consultants, not real in-house, or even organizations that don't mind that the PM can bring his own PO, and that will not be depending on you if you want to get paid or you want to do it as an internship or things like that. So that's what I meant, that it might be a tactical approach into getting into the industry. So in this case, PM role sounds like what the business guys and partnership guys do. Well, you're right. That's part of the PM role. You're a business guy, a partnership guy. Are we good? Questions, answer? Do we go ahead? Any other clarification?
Please, Mr. Palumi, that metrics side for the PM tracks business KPI. I'm a bit confused there, sir.
Oh, okay. So what are metrics? Metrics are standards by which are being evaluated. That's what I mean by metrics. So when we say, how do you know this product manager is successful? How do you know you are successful as a product manager? How do you track it? Because it looks very infinitesimal or something that is not, you can't grab easily. So imagine as a PO, you can track how fast their sprints are, how fast their development team is. But for you, not really. because you are working on strategy. You're working on things that are strategically focused, not things that are tactical. You understand what I'm saying? Product market fit can be a long goal. Why? Because technically, my people, some business will not hit PMF in 2 years. It doesn't mean you're a bad PM. It doesn't mean you're a bad product manager. But within that product of 2 years, how do they measure your growth? How do they measure your success? How do they measure that you're doing the right thing? You understand? That's what I mean by metrics. KPI is a key performance index. That's what KPI means. Key performance indices. That's what KPI means. It's how you track business goals, how you track business successes, how you track business progress. At the beginning of a business year or the beginning of a strategy session, businesses, they set KPIs. You must achieve this, you must achieve this, you must achieve this. So even though you're on a 2-year journey, there are monthly KPIs, there are quarterly KPIs, there are yearly KPIs. As a PM, you are sure you are achieving all those. Already, you get that now, right?
Yes, I do, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So while product managers focuses on long-term vision, like I said, market strategy and customer needs, the product owner is more involved in day-to-day execution, backlog management, and ensuring the team builds the right products. However, in most product agile teams, the PM also acts as the PO. The product manager ensures the right product is built by aligning customer needs with business goals. When acting as a product owner, they translate that strategy into clear user stories, feature prioritizations, sprint goals. Success comes from balancing stakeholder expectations, team execution, and customer feedback. Stephanie, this is clear enough, or do you want me to explain again? You all agree, have you? So you see that you can all serve as both a PM and a PO, even though they are different roles, but it can be the person that manages both. And I know that very well that organizations will actually want to employ someone that does both, as opposed to finding, depending on the scope of the project, or of the product, that wants to find someone doing it separately. Are we clear? Are we clear? Good.
Is it not best to have someone doing it separately for effectiveness?
Like I said, yes, it is better for someone doing it separately as separately for effectiveness, yes. But it's not every organized. Sorry about that, guys. It's weekend. The whole house is full. So is it more effective that way? It depends on the scope of the product. For some organizations, they don't mind having both PMs and POs. Then also, if you look at it very well, as a PM, once you have set your strategy and you have set up your product ops, and you have a lot of your overheads already in motion, you can easily switch the role of a PO without affecting your role as a PM. Because at those points in time, there's no clash. And you literally might not be doing anything at that point. Do you guys get it? Do you get it, Toby Lover?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Cynthia, it's possible to have both a PM and a PO in same organizations. It's fine. It's okay. Yes, it's possible. A lot of organizations do have both PMs and POs. So for some organizations, they may not call them POs. They might call them Scrum Masters. Okay, you get it, man. But they are definitely still playing the roles of POs. Yes, ma'am. So it's really just depending on the organization, really. All right. So we move to another agile method, which we call Kanban. We'll call it Kanban. Are we good? Can we go ahead? Or you guys want to take a 1 minute break to soak everything in? Okay. So your organization has Scrum and PO. So basically, I mean, Scrum Masters don't just track time; they actually manage the Scrum cycle. And part of the Scrum cycle is the sprint session. So, like I said, Scrum itself is bigger than what we just spoke about. So while a Scrum Master might be doing more than just managing a sprint cycle alone, based on other Scrum frameworks or other Scrum ceremonies or other Scrum itineraries. But as a product owner, as regards product, this is where Scrum covers for us as product professionals. I hope you get me, Niloa. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have a Scrum Master, your Scrum Master can actually run the same job your PO is doing. But your PO might not be able to do other things the Scrum Master is doing. If there are other processes and other ceremonies in a Scrum. You understand what I'm saying? So ideally, your organization should not have a Scrum Master and a PO. Because if you have a Scrum Master alone, it's okay. Your PM should be able to work with that Scrum Master. It's already looking to a duplication of role, or that in your organization, your Scrum Master doesn't get involved, in the product life cycle and lets the PO assume the role during a sprint or a Scrum cycle, and he focuses on other parts of the Scrum. All right, you get it. Good. Any other question? Any other question? Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Let's go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kolui.
I spent 1 hour. I spent 1 hour already. All right. So what is Kanban? Kanban is a visual workflow management method. It is used to optimize work efficiency, which focuses on continuous delivery rather than fixed length iterations. It helps teams limit work in progress to improve flow. It was developed for lean manufacturing but widely adopted in software and other industries. Trying to remember something. Okay, so I think Kanban came out of. How many of you have heard about this Japanese management framework called Kaizen? Anybody? As PMs, you guys need to read why. I said, have you heard about this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right.
Okay, thank you, Samson. You've read about Kaizen. What does Kaizen mean?
See, it's the management techniques to manage workflow, how those works are done, and then I think it's all about production management actually.
All right. Yes. Kaizen started, I think, from Toyota. He's speaking basically about, little efforts that amounts or that sums up to larger influence in a manufacturing process. So you don't need to carry big engine or focus on the screw that's joining those engines together. Screw 1, screw 2, screw 3, till you have a big piece of system. That's really what Kaizen is about. you know. And part of Kaizen and the Lean framework, part of Kanban and the Lean framework came out of the Kaizen concepts. You know, it started from lean manufacturing, but there is another Agile framework called Lean framework. You know, Kaizen came out from there, but it has been translated also into software development and other industries. So why Kanban? Because it's believed that it optimizes efficiency by reducing bottlenecks. It enhances workflow. Sorry. Do you guys understand what I mean here by continuous delivery rather than fixed length iterations?
No, sir, Mr. Community, thank you.
All right, good. So, as opposed to Scrum, where you have a sprint cycle, what did we say our sprint cycle is? What did we call a sprint cycle? What did we define a sprint cycle as?
A period of 1 to 4 weeks for us to achieve a sprint goal.
Thank you very much, sir. In Kanban, we don't have time. It's not time-based. We work as work day. You understand? That's why it means that it is focused on continuous delivery. Just keep delivery. There's no fixed length. There's nobody saying you must finish this in 2 weeks, you must finish this in 3 weeks. Just keep working. Do you guys get it now?
Yes, sir.
Good. So it enhances workflow visibility through use of visual boards. It improves responsiveness. You said what, Kyle? She talking to me? Okay, I don't think it's me. All right. So it improves responsiveness to changing priorities. So they're in a system where things keep changing, you know, and there's no rigidity of focus. But this one can come now. Yeah, you guys get to action. Kanban is your best flow. It encourages continuous improvement. Remember at the beginning of class, we were talking about Kaizen. Little effort, better one, little effort, improve, little effort, improve. And what are the core principles of Kanban? Start with what you do now. No drastic changes. You know, you can keep improving, you can keep enlarging, but just start now with your own little scope. You know, principle number 2, you agree to pursue incremental changes, continuous small improvements over time. That's technically the definition of Kaizen. Continuous small improvements over time. You also, the other principle is that it respects current roles and responsibilities. So no need for anybody to assume any other role change or any other particularly big act to implement Kanban. And it encourages leadership at all levels. Anyone can suggest improvements at any level of Kanban. And I'm sure that you guys must have seen Kanban very operational in a lot of places. So how does it work? How does Kanban work? How many people have seen frameworks like this before? I'm sure you do. If you have some level of ERP in your organization, you will have seen, even maybe it's Excel sheets, you'll have seen Excel sheets like this. Something you're saying?
I've seen a board like this before, like a normal fiscal board where different colors of papers.
Exactly. And that's basically your Kanban. That's what you call a Kanban board. And basically, what does it do? How does it work? It visualizes work using a Kanban board. So when you are picking from your backlog or you have a list of your backlog, you put everything on that board, all your backlogs, maybe as thumbtacks, as notes, or as whatever the type of board you are using, whether it's a digital board or a physical board. You get this scope. Everything starts from your backlog. Then you limit the number of tasks in progress. We spoke about WIP earlier. That is, as an organization, you agree. What is our WIP limit? 3 tasks, 4 tasks, 5 tasks. So it means that, so for instance, look at this board I shared with you. Look at this board you're seeing. Have you noticed that from to do to done, there is none that has more than 3 tasks? Have you guys noticed it? Good. That's the WIP limit. So they know that they are not working more than 3 tasks at any single time. So now, for instance, now this to do is 2. Maybe they have moved on to in progress. They can now move on from backlog to do. You get the drift. Good. So it focuses on workflow optimization rather than time box iterations. Like you said, workflow optimization, it flows from backlog to do to in progress to testing to done. And it encourages continuous delivery of value. So work has finished from backlog. There's nothing in there are 2 tasks in to do. You can add 1 more from backlog to do. I don't need to wait for 1 cycle before I can add more. Unlike Scrum and sprints. Discussing the workflow. What are backlog? Like we all know, they are prioritized list of work items. On the to-do sections, there are tasks ready to be started. They have not started, but you have said that, okay, these are the next things you should work on for anybody picking it up. In progress, tasks being actively worked on. These are the tasks your dev team is working on. Review and testing, there are tasks that have been completed, but they've not been validated. They are in the process of being tested and validated. Done, tasks that have been completed, they've been tested, they've all agreed that it has been done, that's finished, is okay, and you're good to go. Basically, that's what your Kanban looks like. Any questions? Any questions? Somebody's answering again.
No questions, Mr. Kwelumi. I think this Kanban framework is
It's pretty
extremely
straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. Not like Scrum. We're going around in circles.
Mr. Pelumi,
Yes, ma'am.
I think this Kanban framework is actually very easy to understand compared to other methodologies. Maybe because it's a visual representation. Maybe that's why it's easy to work with. For me, though, I don't know about others.
Okay. I get you. You're very correct. All right.
I don't know.
All right. So what are the Kanban ceremonies? Like we said, the Kanban board is a visual representation of workflow stages. It helps track work items and identify bottlenecks. Columns, they're in different process steps to do, in progress, done, and work items generally move from left to right through the board. What are the metrics in Kanban? Cycle time, the time taken to complete a task, lead time, the time from request to completion, throughput, number of tasks that are completed over a period. Cumulative flow diagram, it generally visualizes workflow stability. Basically saying that, how many features are in to do? Do you have more features in done than in to do's? Do you have more features in to do's that is more than in done? It's showing you there's a bottleneck somewhere. So there is so much work, but just that works are not being completed. Excuse me. It just gives a cumulative flow diagram of your processes and your operation style, saying, okay, what is happening? Like I explained earlier, work in progress in Kanban is a constraint on the number of tasks that can be in progress at any given time. The essence of WIP is simple. It's to help provide, to help overloading team members with work. It ensures faster completion of tasks, and it helps identify process inefficiencies. So it helps you quickly identify, where your bottlenecks are. Which one are people doing the most? Which one are people having issues with the most? Where are people stuck on the board? It's very simple. And like I explained Kaizen earlier, small iterative changes, small change, small improvements over time. That's really the foundational level of Kanban, using retrospectives and feedback loops to enhance efficiency. It also empowers teams to take ownership of improvements ASAP. So what are some of the roles that anybody can take in Kanban? You have the service request manager, you have the service delivery manager, and you have team members. I'm sorry about that. Go back to that. So basically, what does a service request manager do? He understands the needs and expectations of the client, is capable of ordering tasks, and similar to the product owner role in Scrum. Your service delivery manager is responsible for delivery process to customers. It manages version control, traceability of changes, rollback, risk management. Whose role is this, guys, in Scrum?
Product owner.
No, this will be the product manager. I purposely moved it. This will be your product manager. It's dealing with version control, and version control are basically your roadmaps, traceability of changes, rollback, risk management. That's your PM. Delivery process to customers. That's your PM. Person in charge of tasks is your PO. Then the team members, multifunctional and self-managed. Task assignments happen within the team, and every team member can perform any task at hand. Are we good? So what are the benefits of Kanban? Why do they use Kanban? It improves workflow transparency, it enhances team efficiencies and reduces bottlenecks because it's straightforward, because it is more visual. It supports just-in-time delivery of work. Things that needs to be done now can easily be moved. It doesn't need any paparazzi or any planning or any rigmaroling or dressing around it. It's flexible and is adaptable to various industries. Then also it encourages a culture of continuous improvement. What are some of the best practices of Kanban success? You need to define your WIP limits to maintain a steady workflow. Very important. You continuously refine the backlog for efficiency. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, you can see it.
I think my network clipped off a bit. All right. What was the last thing you said? What was the last thing I said? I guess it.
You were asking what were the benefits of
Talking
Kanban?
about work limits.
Work limits and
Okay.
work transparency or something.
All right. So I was talking about the difficulties in defining WIP limits. It could be in Kanban. It could be a bit difficult because defining limits, it can be very tricky, because some people will believe that at times you need to push people. more than their capacity for them to deliver. Some people will tell you that no, let them work at their own pace. So in that construct and mindset, that can be refraining a bit. It's also very possible that you overload columns because as a result of your WIP limits, you can just be saying, me as a PM now, why am I putting only 3 under to do when there's plenty work? I'm putting 10. You guys share it among yourselves. But as good as that reason might be as a PM, it can also lead to bottleneck. Also, there could be challenges of lack of clear policies for work prioritization, especially if you are not using very, very clear prioritization methods within the team. Then lastly, there could be resistance to change from traditional workflows when you have people that tell you that this is how we do it here. Don't do them everything, they will sort their work. No, don't give them time to breathe. We also always have that. So as a PM, you must be skillful enough in being able to envisage these challenges ahead before they start showing up their heads, and you managing it when they start showing their heads. So, okay. So what next about Agile should we discuss? SAFK. You mean safe? You will come to that.
Mr. I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes, please go ahead.
You know what we talk about Scrum the other time. We talk about the tools that are being used in school. Is there no tools for Kanban?
Please come again.
I said when we talk about Scrum the other time, we talk about the tools that can be used in Scrum process. So
Yeah.
is there any other tools that can be used for Kanban?
We already mentioned it, the Kanban board. That's a major tool you use in Kanban.
Is it a software or just a normal board?
It could be a board, it could be a software, it could be any, depending on you as an organizer, how you decide to run it. There are software Kanban boards, there are physical boards that you can also use as Kanban boards. So if you use ERPs in your organizations, most of them come with Kanban boards. Are we clear? Or you mean safe, right? Not SAF. The safe framework, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
That's fine. It's okay. For the purpose of this class, we will not be bringing us safe because that's it's a different ball game entirely. But yes, there's a safe framework. You're very correct. All right, so let's go to our next topic or the next item. How do you choose the right Agile framework? When do you use which one? I'm sure this is where a lot of you are interested in. All those talk I'm talking before was just talk. Yeah, I know. I've been there before. How do you know when to use this framework? Mary, yes, please go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so from what I've learned, if I were to pick, when you want to use Scrum is basically for time limits. You want something fast, you want something efficient, you want something quick, something that you want to achieve within a particular set period of time. It keeps you focused on a particular goal. So when you just want to achieve something within a set period of time that your shareholder is expecting you to achieve something, using Scrum will be the best choice. Now, I will use Kanban when I know I'm using a feature that I know I have to continually update, continually regulate, continually involve evolving, to continually evolve, so that my customers will be very happy to get in more clienteles, something like that. For example, now, if I want to build Scrum, something like Scrum, linking like I was working, the assignments they are giving us, I picked a personal finance management app.
Okay.
So one of the things I would pick a Scrum for is linking my account, linking a bank account to my app, which in turn gives my user, you'll be able to withdraw using my app. At the same time, you will not have to manually input every transaction you make into my app. So we're doing things like this. It's something that it's a very essential part of the app. It's a very important part. Using Scrum will be very efficient and will be very important to use. So for Canva, UI UX, like the front of my application or the front of my app, what is the user going to be seeing? That's something I have to be regularly updating, regularly putting more information, new investment opportunities, new news about money, news about the finance world, information that regularly have to be updated. Something like that I will use the Kanban for. So that's just my own opinion, though.
Thank you very much. You're very correct. Thank you very much. Very, very correct. Very, very correct. All right. Okay, someone else put up a hand. Who is that? Somebody want to say something. Somebody put a hand now. Or the person wanted to clap. All right, good. So, like Mary said, Scrum is best used when you have iterative development and team collaboration. You have a cross-functional team that are working in time-boxed iterations. They need to develop something within a time frame. Your project also needs regular feedback loops. You want a structured sprint session, daily stand-ups and retrospectives and all of that. You have to use a Scrum. And when do you avoid Scrum? You avoid it when you have frequent unplanned tasks or heavy maintenance work. And if you know that as a team, you always struggle with fixed length or timing or things like that, don't go near Scrum. It's not your strength. Are we clear? When you use, yes, ma'am.
So sorry to interrupt. Can we say that Scrum is more of okay, can we say that rather the Kanban? Can we say that Kanban is more like waterfall methodology?
No.
Okay, why is that, sir?
Because in your waterfall methodology is not an agile system. And what do I mean by it's not an agile system? It's a system of, you have designers, you have developers. Designers finish their work, then developers start. You understand what I'm saying? It's not broken down into bits at all. It's in large chunks. So don't forget that even in Kanban, you still have to deal with your product backlogs. And product backlogs are things you have brought out from an agile system where you have discussed your user stories, you have discussed your epics and your teams. You don't have all of that in your waterfall. Did you get it? Or are you there?
Yes, yeah, I'm with you, sir. So are you saying that now, like this Kanban board that is on the screen now? So
Yes.
like from the to do to down to the done aspect. So we
Yes.
don't necessarily need to wait for one of the columns to be done before we move to the next. Is it that
No.
everything can be done simultaneously at the same time?
Yes. So basically, it's simple. You have a product. You have a list of tasks on your to-dos. Your PM moves. So don't let's use this. Don't let's use this board. Let's use this board. This board is more. I prefer this board. You have a list on your backlogs based off from your user stories or your epics. Your PMs move them to to-dos. As you are working on one to-do, it can be development, it can be design, based, don't forget, on your epics or the focus of your objectives. You understand what I'm saying? That your PM has decided that this is what we are faking, this is what we are focusing on the periods of to-dos. You don't technically have to wait for the design person to finish before you start your own work. In waterfall, design will finish before development can start. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it is, sir.
All right. Someone asked a question. Yes, Cynthia, you're right. So with time now, we have seen scenarios where people combine two different frameworks. I personally, I like to work with Scrum and Kanban at the same time because it just works for me. So you start having you start having hybrid frameworks that they call, some people call it Scrum Band, some people call it Scrum Can, some people call it can something and all those stuff like that. Yes. So you have scenarios where people combine frameworks. Any other question? Does this mean that for Agile, we break the design into screens, not screens? Joy, please, can you expatiate that your question? I didn't get your question very well. Joy, are you here? I'm still a bit confused. I mean, different screens, screen features in a sprint. What do you mean by the screen? Is the screen that is confusing me?
Okay, so my question was that you said waterfall, the designers
Yes.
will finish their design, then the
Yeah.
development team will continue. But
Yeah.
now in an agile methodology, looking at this sprint, we want to do the landing page, for example. So the designers will develop the landing page, design the landing page, then the developers will work on the landing page while the designers now move to another thing. Is that how it works?
So let me try to understand what you're saying. So you're saying in waterfall, designer will do his job and move away. We are saying that in agile, that design job itself, you won't find an overhead of design. You will find task based because the project has been broken down into bits. So we gave you an example. We want to improve user onboarding. So we have an objective to increase user onboarding. What does the designer need to do to increase user onboarding? He needs to design a new UI form, or he needs to design a gamification system. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, I get.
So in that point in time, you are not working as design. You are not working as developer. You are working based on your user stories, what your users want, which is what we are working on user onboarding. Part of the task of user onboarding is what you are designing a new UI or a gamification system. A developer is coding a gamification system. So under the task you see there is a user story as regards improving user onboarding. Part of the task you see there is a user story as regards writing codes for user onboarding. Do you get it now?
Okay, I get. So we are all working towards a goal.
Exactly.
And then when we achieve that goal, we move to the next goal.
Exactly. So waiting for somebody to start or waiting for somebody to finish. You can easily go to your to-dos and pick what you want to do and move it to in progress.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So when you use the Kanban method, so like Mary said, when you need something for continuous delivery and workflow optimization, the framework to use is Kanban. When you need a visual workflow management with WIP limits, when your team deals with high priority, fast changing requests, e.g., DevOps, support teams, and the likes, you use Kanban. When you focus on efficiency, reducing bottlenecks, and improving flow, you're looking at speed. The tool to use is Kanban. When should you avoid Kanban? When you need strict time box iterations, that is, you're working within a time limit. Scrum works better. When the team is new to Agile and they lack discipline in self-organization, because Kanban requires high level of discipline. Everybody works together. There's no Oga, there's no Moshe, there's no, everybody tactically works together. Avoid Kanban. For purpose of this, of understanding Agile, I started to, then we also have SAFE. I know we've not discussed about SAFE in depth, and we'll get there. So when you're in large enterprises and you have multiple teams, that is when you use frameworks like SAFE. When you need to align strategy and execution across departments. When your company is scaling Agile across the organization. If you're a small or a single team startup, avoid scale because the overhead is too much. If you want flexibility without heavy governance, avoid SAFE because that's really what SAFE is about. Also, we have the Lean framework. Ideally, Lean is best for reducing wastes and maximizing value. In Lean, you focus basically on what customers want or what customer request or what customers are asking for. That's what really Lean is about. So when do you use Lean? When you want to eliminate inefficiencies and optimize resources. When your team values continuous improvement, Kaizen, and rapid feedback. When you work in hardware, manufacturing, or service-based industries, because Lean is very focused on customer feedback, you should use Lean. If you're a small and single startup again, avoid Lean because the overhead is high. If you want pure flexibility without heavy governance, it's best to also avoid Lean. Somebody asked a question earlier when we were talking about hybrid frameworks. We also have hybrid approaches, when you need to customize. So we mentioned the Scrum earlier, when you want structured sprints, but also you want it in a visual flow tracking system. You have the Lean and XP. That's another type. XP is another type of framework where you prioritize highly quality development with continuous improvement. A lot of high-tech software organizations use this Lean and XP. If you're scaling across organization with automation, when you're talking CI/CD, you might want to combine DevOps with the SAFE framework itself. So you have an hybrid approach to Agile. So in summary, you use Scrum if you need structured sprints with regular iterations. You use Kanban if you need flexibility and continuous workflow. if you're scaling agile across large teams, you use safe. So you see why we are not taking safe, because really this is not a this is a agile thing. This is not a product thing. I hope you get now. That's why I'm not going very deep into it or having a deep dive into it. Use XP if you are prioritizing software quality, automation, and engineering best practices. Use Lean if you want to eliminate waste and optimize efficiency. Then you use hybrid if you want a customized approach or you want to combine agile method. So you see why I really focus on Scrum and Kanban, because it really looks like they're the one that really attends to us as product professionals. For the remaining frameworks, it's really more of the agile professionals that pertains to as it is. So that brings us to the end of agile in product management. So assignment 1, creating not more than 10 pages slide. It's not more than 10 pages on XP and Lean framework, and discuss its why, its benefit, its core principles and processes, its workflows, ceremonies, metrics, and differences with other frameworks already discussed in class. Yes, so that's going to be our assignment. Yeah. Why are you laughing now? Why is everybody crying? People don't want assignments.
Let me laugh.
Yes, please, let's go back, Mr. Pelumi. That XP, it was.
I didn't talk
really
about
fun.
XP and Lean. I didn't talk about XP and Lean framework. You know,
Please, I did not grab.
I
I
didn't
got
talk.
the link. I did not grab.
I didn't say anything about XP. We didn't do anything about XP in class.
Yes, we didn't.
Yeah, and that's intentional.
Mm.
And you notice that I didn't put safe there because safe is way more broader. And there's no you do that in 10 pages. You know. But the essence of the assignment is not really about your understanding of Agile. It's about your understanding as a PM. That's what I want to bring out from it. I hope that is clear. Amen. The Lord has strength. Yes, Damila, please go ahead.
No, that was a mistake.
Okay, all right. So do you understand? It's not about how vast or how solid you are in Agile. It's about your prepare how you prepare as a PM and how you position yourself as a PM. So and that's why I said it should not be more than 10. If you can do it in 5 or less, that's fine. And before our next class, we'll pick 1 or 2 people that will present to us. And I won't tell you who. In fact, to be one of the people that don't talk in class that I will pick. So are we clear? Yeah. Are we good? Are we clear? Questions, answers, subtraction, removal. Nobody's answering me again. No.
So I guess you don't have question. Toby, you
Okay, so
missed out. Abi, what's the developer saying? Oh,
network kicked you out. So we have gone a long way from where?
Toby, what part did you miss out on?
Okay. Then please, I sent you a message on WhatsApp. Please check.
Okay, sir.
Okay. The assignment. So I said you are supposed to create no more than 10-page slide and give us an expose on the XP and Lean framework of Agile. I'm going to discuss its why, its benefit, its core principles, processes, workflows, ceremonies, metrics, and differences with other frameworks already discussed in class. Not more than 10. If you can do it in 5 or 2, and like I said, this assignment is not talking about your expertise on Agile. It's really talking about your expertise as a PM. Yes, slide. Yes. Everybody must submit. Oh, very important. So, Dami, when is this assignment due?
Sir, upper week. But I'll get
Yes,
across to you. Yes, about
upper
upper
week.
week.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
upper week is fine. Okay, good. All right. Anything you're convenient with creating slides with? Anything, any application you know to create slides with? Yes, sir. Yes, to be global, you can create WPS, anything you're convenient with. All right. So let's talk about feature prioritization. I know time is up, but we promised to go to 10. So I've spoken to Fumi. She said we can use Tuesday. So should I go ahead with feature prioritization now, or we should continue for today? Or we should move feature prioritization to Tuesday?
Sorry, sir. Colin,
Yes, sir.
they just told me that we can continue. That is still going to, the recording is still going on.
All right, that's fine then. Okay. All right. Okay. So guys, what are we saying? Do we continue or do we move to Tuesday? For me, I said we can use Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Okay.
sir.
Tuesday. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, Tuesday then. All right. But it seems like everybody is. How do we do this one? Maybe I'm saying continue. Maybe I'm saying Tuesday. But it looks like the Tuesday people are more than two to continue. Damn, what do we do?
Sir, I feel that we all agreed on Tuesday that we are going to do this class for 3 hours. That we're going to stop by 10.
Okay, all right. Okay, class captain said we should do to 9:30. Abby. So let's push. Let's push it about 9:30. Should have also finished early on Tuesday.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you guys. So let's just push a bit. I know this one feels like it's a bit deeper. All right. So what is feature prioritization? So who here has been in a situation where you're indecisive about a step or a direction to follow? You have so many options of things to take, to do. I just don't know if should I go with A, should I go with B, should I go with C, should I go with D? How many of you here? All right, Lydia, Tobiloba, good. Lydia, tell us. Give us a gist about that situation and how you resolved it. Lydia, yeah, we're waiting for you now. Lydia is not talking.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, we're waiting for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this time in my work when I was working, I was faced with I was faced I needed to take some decisions on how to handle a certain project. So for me, it was I was in a dilemma, but then I decided for me to solve the problem, I dealt with it in this way. I decided to do what you call demand priority and tackle the task that was in
Oh,
more demand than the others.
all right. Thank you very much for that, Lydia. Thank you very much. So, coming back to class, you know, um, before structured prioritization techniques were widely adopted, teams and organizations they used to face critical challenges that made it difficult to deliver value efficiently. And as such, those challenges led the need for a systematic prioritization method to do what? To manage work effectively. And what I want to bring out here is what? The main purpose or core functionality of feature prioritization is to help us manage work effectively. You guys get it? And guys, let me ask, when do you think we deploy feature prioritization? I want to know if you are following me. Oh, yeah, now nobody's asking. He's answering. Hello. When do we deploy feature prioritization? That is the question.
Okay, Mr. Pelumi.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So I just to guess, I believe where we deploy future prioritization is when we are planning the roadmap at the teams, the epic and the user story phase.
Yes, you could deploy them.
Especially the epic phase where we so far from what I've learned, I believe it's the epic phase where we are trying to select the task to work on or to prioritize the tasks that or the work items, like you said, the work items to work on. So I believe it's the epic phase. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mary, you want to say something?
Yes. So yeah, she said the epic phase will be the phase we prioritize feature. But I also think the team phase should be the phase because if I'm going to start working, I want to have an overview idea of exactly what I'm going to be like. Me, I'm a web developer. You told me you want me to build a website for you. You already told me exactly what you want. I already have a vision of what exactly my product is going to be, which in turn means I already have features in my head already as to what I want. So I'll really pick team as when we pick when feature prioritization will come in, because I should have already from the very start, I should know exactly what feature I want my business to have, what exactly will make it stand out, what exactly is going to make it different, or even the general feature for even just generally for anywhere, for any job, for any this, I should know exactly the feature I'm going to start with. That should be the first thing I want to know first about any job or anything. What feature do you want it to have?
All right. Thank you very much, Mary. So when I was explaining feature prioritization now, what did I say is the fundamental reason for feature prioritization? I just said it now. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
So at what level do you manage work effectively? What level is the level of work? Are you guys sure we'll not continue next week like this so that we are not too overloaded?
Sorry, Mr. Pelumi. I think at that time I stood up to do something. I didn't hear.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So
Yeah, user stories is where the actionable work items are being carried out.
God bless you. And once you have done that, it is during your sprint planning. During your sprint planning, you've picked your user stories, you've arranged your sprint goals, and you're planning how. This is where your feature prioritization comes in, how you are going to work. How do you manage work effectively? And I remember talking about this capacity and effort estimation, and I said we'll talk about it in the next, we'll talk about it later today. I remember mentioning that. Do you guys get it now? Or do you want me to go? Do you want me to explain deeper? Are we clear?
Please explain deeper, sir.
Okay. So I said feature prioritization is basically helping you to manage work effectively. And the next question that followed is, when do you deploy feature prioritization? Where on your work? It's basically during your sprint planning. If you're using a Kanban method, it will be in between you moving between your product backlog to your to-dos. That's when you do your own planning there. And you will understand why when we finally define feature prioritization. I just wanted to point it out there so that you know how it fits, so that when we are talking about it, you get a very deep down overview of the need for feature prioritization. Feature prioritization is basically how you manage work. Why are we doing this now? What are we doing now? Why are we doing it now? What is the outcome we're expecting? So that you don't think that people just go and just pick any sprint they want. Do you get me? Or anybody just pick any work task they want. This one is fine. Let me pick this one. This one is nice. Let me pick this one. Or as a PO, as a PM, when you are planning your to-dos or you are planning your sprints backlog, that is when you are moving features from your product backlog to your sprint backlog. Why are you picking this, not the other one? What is your strategy? Are you guys getting it? Do you guys remember how we started this discussion? You're in a pool of so many things. How do you know the one to pick? Do you guys get it? All right, are you still with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm following you, sir.
So that is where your future prioritization comes in. That during planning, how do you know what to set? How do you know the tasks that you want your team to work on?
So, Mr. Pelumi, if I get you right, if me and my team were using the Kanban method, so is it during the to-do phase we're going to do the future prioritization team is actually going to come in
before you start moving from backlog
to do.
to do. because you must have a strategy of how you are moving, and what are the things you are moving, why you are moving it, what you want to achieve with the things you are moving. Because as a PM, there's a strategy involved in what you are doing. You're not just doing it blindly. And the whole team across board understand why this is what you are working on at this instance. Why this is what you are working on. Why is it the green ones you are working on? Why you've not touched this black one at all? You understand? That's
So,
the whole
Mr.
of
Patero, sorry to interrupt you, sir. If I get you clearly, is this also related to the pain and vitamin products you taught us?
yes, it could be.
It could be. Okay, so in a way we can also use that to prioritize the task and the futures we're going to be working on.
Yeah, very correct. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And that's why we have feature prioritization. It helps us, create a system or a theorem or a theory of the things we should be working on part time. So in essence, what were the problems feature prioritization we're trying to achieve? What was the problem? Before we go to definition, let us, we still do something, and if you have followed how I've been taking this training, you always notice that I discuss the problem first before solution. So what is the problem? Teams often add more work than they could handle. It leads to bottleneck, delays, and burnouts. Without clear prioritization, everything always looks like it's urgent. Everything is important. It caused inefficiencies and wasted efforts. What was the impact of that problem? Resources were spread too thin, leading to slow progress on all tasks rather than completing key initiatives first. Remember what I said? Key initiatives first. Critical work, the work that is important, gone. That clients needed, gone. That was value, that is pain, just like you said, alright. So imagine now that you have created a product that it is pain for somebody. Are you getting me already?
Yes, sir.
And imagine that feature was deprioritized unintentionally. Let's say it is. Do you see that would take you a longer time to achieve product market fit for your product?
Yes, very true, sir.
Exactly. And those are the problems of not prioritizing. 2, lack of clear business focus. When you don't prioritize, companies struggle to align tasks with strategic goals, and stakeholders have conflicting priorities, leading to unclear decision making. Everybody's idea is important. Then you now start doing idea based on hierarchy. Okay, this is what the CEO wants. This is what the CEO wants. This is what the CMO wants. And what happens? Teams will work on low-value tasks while high-impact initiatives remain neglected. Then products and features were built without a clear connection to customer or business needs. A lot of times we're just being sentimental. Another problem is market and customer needs changing rapidly. When business faces changing customer demands and competitive pressures, without prioritizations, teams will not know how to pivot when new opportunities or threats emerge. They don't know where to switch to, how to switch, what they've been doing because they've just been working as work day. What happens in this stance? Companies will miss out on market trends. They release features that were already outdated, that people don't need again. Or they respond slowly to customer feedback, which will lead to low satisfaction and churn. Also, a lack of prioritization. It affects decision making decisions more subjective and inefficient. And decisions, like I said, will be made based on personal opinion highest paid person's opinion or political influence. Person will get mouth pass for office. Features were basically built because one stakeholder pushed for them, not because they added value, which is a major problem that we always have as PMs. Stakeholder wants this. Whether it adds value or not, that's another discussion. And the impact is this: time will be wasted building features that do not align with business objectives or user needs. The lack of data-driven decision-making lead to ineffective product development. Also, development teams were faced with what you call scope creep on unmanageable workloads. Without prioritization, new tasks will just be added anywhere, mid-sprint, end sprint, beginning sprint, and you'll be creeping into the scope of the development team for that period. Developers will have unclear direction on what to focus on, and it's leading them to, context switching and inefficiencies. And I can tell you, thank God Mary is a developer. She can attest to you that's one major thing that, wears developers out. You tell them A today, tomorrow is B. Tell them C tomorrow. Next tomorrow is D. Trust me, you have lost them. So how the prioritization solve all this problem? It ensures that high impact work gets done first. It aligns product development with business and customer needs. It helps teams respond faster to change ASAP. It reduces wasted effort and maximizes efficiency, and it helps make data-driven decisions instead of relying on individual opinions. So what is feature prioritization itself? Are we clear? Do we all get these problem statements?
Yes, sir.
Good. Somebody's asking a question. Let me check. Okay, Cynthia is asking, does feature prioritization work for MVP, especially in developing the authentication pages like? Cynthia, I think it's better you ask. I did not get this question you typed. Cynthia, can you talk? Cynthia, are you there?
Yes, let me explain. I went
Yes.
to a camp place. Okay, like this feature prioritization because there was a time I did an internship when I had after one training I went through. So we were told to prioritize some other features. Then other people were tasked with the doing the sign in homepage and other pages. So I'm now thinking, does this feature prioritization work for MVPs? Because what you worked on was an MVP. So they are focused on creating the other features that the product will have. So I don't know
Okay.
how to put it. I don't know if you
Yeah,
understand.
I get your question clearly. Yeah. So MVP is a state of your product. It's not another product. It's still your same product. Yes. So you're basically saying that while we are in MVP states, instead of we have 100 features for our full product, but let's put this 10. So you have decided to prioritize 10 out of 100 for your MVP. Do you get it?
Yes,
Do you understand? Do you understand that?
yes, I understand. I
Yeah.
get.
So you're not putting all your features, you're just putting key features. So you have definitely prioritized to say, okay, these are the features you are prioritizing for now. These are the ones we want to work on for now, because this is what we want to use to launch our MVP. So yes, it works for MVP also. All right. Any other question, please? Okay, so let's go ahead. So in that sense, what is feature prioritization? So it's the process of determining which features, tasks, or initiatives should be worked on first based on their impact, value, and alignment with business goals. Guys, don't forget this, very important. We're saying which features, tasks, or initiatives to be worked on first based on what? Impacts of the future, the value of the future, and the alignment with business goals. All right, so you will see where your pain and the vitamin products come into play now. All right, you see with us?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I see it, sir.
Exactly. It tells product teams focus on the most important work, ensuring that resources are used efficiently to deliver the highest value to customers and the business. Right? You know, it helps us reduce waste. It helps us focus on what is important. You know, let me give you a very colloquial example. A very colloquial example. So, imagine somebody wants to build a e-commerce platform. Guys, what do you think is the most important feature in an e-commerce platform? Or let me ask. So imagine someone wants to build a e-commerce platform, and the first feature is picking is dark mode and light mode.
That's also a vitamin product, sir. That's not a pain point. It's not a pain product.
Exactly my point. So at that point in time, as a PM, will he have said that he has delivered value to customer?
No, sir.
Exactly, and that's why we need to prioritize, because there are more important features for the kind of product that a PM is managing. So for somebody working on an e-commerce platform, there are more important features than whether light mode or dark mode. So do you guys get the scope of prioritization now? Are we clear? Do I go ahead? Good. Thank you. So why feature prioritization? It helps us maximize customer and business value, ensures that the most impactful features are built first. It helps us optimize resources, helps them work efficiently within time, budget, and personnel constraints. It helps us manage stakeholder expectation. It aligns development with business strategy and reducing conflicts. Everybody knows what you are doing. Everybody has an idea of what you are doing. It's not like they're saying something, we are working on something else. It reduces risk by focusing on delivering quick wins and mitigating potential failures. So as a PM, like we said, your main goal is achieving product market fit as fast as possible. The most effective way of doing that is releasing feature that helps you win quickly. As you deliver or you release features that helps your product achieve that PMF as fast as possible. It helps enable agility by allowing team to respond effectively to market changes and customer feedback. That the part of the reasons why we prioritize. When should you prioritize? Doing roadmap planning to align with business goals, like we said earlier, before each sprint or release to decide what goes into development, like we said, after customer feedback and market changes to adjust priorities easily. When resources are constrained, to ensure that your focus is on high impact work, you have limited resources and you need to make sure that those resources help you achieve the most in that period of time. These are when you should prioritize. Are we clear now? Are we good? Good. Thank you. So that will lead us into things we call prioritization frameworks. It is where we are actually going. But if I wanted us to have an understanding of prioritization before we move into prioritization framework itself. So does anybody know about any prioritization framework you have heard of anyone? Or what is your understanding of prioritization frameworks? Anybody wants to help? Thank you. Cynthia says Moscow. Yeah. Thank you, Cynthia. Good. So prioritization frameworks are basically tools or systems we use in prioritizing, basically. Thank you, Chinenye. So we have frameworks like, just like Cynthia said, we have Moscow. We have rice scoring, just like Chinenye said. We have the Canon model. And we have something we call the value versus efforts. For the purpose of this class, there are more, there are other ones. We'll just be focusing on these four for the purpose of this class. All right. So for the purpose of this class, we'll be focusing on these four. So I think this is a good place to call it a day, and we'll start here on Tuesday. Do you agree with me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Good. Because it looks like everybody's wearing out, and people have started leaving off. All right. All right. So any question for the day? Any question, clarification, addition, subtraction, removal? None? Samuel, class captain, no question. So can we call it a day? Is Dami still here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Dami, can we call it a day? And we continue on Tuesday, 7
Okay,
p.m. on
sir.
Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. And have a lovely weekend.
You
Good
too,
night.
sir.
I
Good
need to
night,
start.
sir.
Thank you.
Good night.
So please, I would like
Good
everyone
night, sir.
of our mentorship class on Thursday. Please let's have that at the back of our mind. Thank you very much. See you guys on Tuesday. Good night.
Thank you, Miss Dami. Good night, everyone.
And